Hi, this is the iPhone 5S with Touch ID fingerprint sensor. A lot of people have been having problems using Touch ID where it works for a short period of time, hours, days. It worked for me that way too in the beginning. I couldn't go more than a day or two before it failed until I found a way to solve that problem. And I've posted this message on the support community, and you can check that out for further information. But I've been asked to post a video as to how to go about programming your fingerprint, and here goes my first attempt. So we'll get rid of this and go into Touch ID and passcode. Now this is the NSA approved secure unhackable passcode, but don't try this one at home, obviously for demonstration purposes. And go into Touch ID, you'll see I have two fingers, right thumb, and finger two is actually my left thumb, but there's a couple of ways you can delete these, and you certainly want to delete them before you reprogram your fingerprint. You can either swipe to the left and hit delete, or go up and hit edit and the minus sign and delete it that way. Either choice, it's yours. You could also, if you have five fingerprints programmed, you can go in and turn passcode off, turn it back on again, and it'll prompt you. It'll say, hey, I see there are fingerprints out there. Do you want to keep or delete them? And you could say delete, and it'll just blow them all out at one time. And that works pretty good. So if I go into Touch ID, you'll see I have my right thumb programmed. And we'll turn it off. And it does work. And to show you that Touch ID is enabled, there's once my passcode, and instead I'll just give it my thumb. So this has worked for me for weeks. I've recently reprogrammed it only because I've installed iOS 7.04. And anytime you do that or you restore from a backup or install a new OS, you have to reprogram your fingerprints. So no big deal. So I'll go in and, again, remember NSA, they can't break this because nobody's stupid enough to use 1111. Go into Touch ID. I'll delete my one remaining fingerprint, and you'll see that I now have to add a new fingerprint. Here's two wrong ways of doing it. Some people have a problem, myself included, and a lot of people around the web don't have a problem with it, and they program their fingerprints using this angled method. And you'll see a lot of demonstrations here on YouTube also with people doing that, or they program their fingerprints at random, and that doesn't work for a lot of people. It might work for you. If it does, great. You can stop watching now. But if you have a problem with your fingers not working with Touch ID after hours or days, you're going to want to do it this way. So we'll do add a fingerprint. And what you want to do, you know what? I'll show you, I'll exaggerate it first. What you want to do is take the center of your finger directly over the center of the button and start by almost the base of the nail lined up with the bottom of the sensor, like so. And you want to make 9 scans in 3 rows, center, left, and right. And then move up to the next row and do, again, center, left, and right, so forth and so on until you get to 9. And then the very last one, do dead center of those 9. I found this to work the best for me. It's worked for other people. It may work for you as well. And I'll show that real quick. So, okay. Place my finger, or my thumb in this case, until it vibrates. Lift it, move slightly to the left, move back to the right, and then go do the next row. Move down, center, left, right, center, left. Don't press it too hard, and right. And then for the last scan, I'll go right back to the center of all 9 of them. So that's 10 scans, which it seems like that defaults to 10 scans. So if you look at this picture, the demonstration where they had their thumb on an angle to catch either the front portion or the sides of your thumb, for those who have problems, that's not going to work. It'll work for a short period of time, then it's going to fail. Don't do that. You could, if you want, maybe catch the very outer edges of your thumb in front, left, and right, but you don't really have to. You can go back to Touch ID, and you'll notice now that I have finger 1 registered. So you don't have to go all the way through to the point where it says complete. You can stop at this point, and it will work. What you may not know is from this screen, if you lightly place your finger over the button, you'll see finger 1 highlights. That's showing you that yes, it does in fact recognize your thumb. And if I put my index finger over it, you'll notice that it doesn't do anything. Go back to the thumb, it highlights. That's still a good fingerprint, and everything should work. So let's go back. I'll turn it off. And the first time you program your finger, you do have to enter your passcode. After that, and you all know that, and after that, everything should work. The secret here for people who have problems is don't use an angled approach like this. It's going to fail. There's a better shot of it, hopefully. Keep your finger flat. Also, stay away from the tip of your thumb. You want to stay back here in the meaty part of your thumb. Probably help if I put this in frame. Stay back here in the meatier part of your thumb where you have a more well-defined fingerprint. Everybody's fingerprint obviously is different, and if you have more unique characteristics up on the tip of your finger or the edges of your finger, fine, that may be why it's working for you. It doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for a lot of other people. So if you keep your finger flat, keep your thumb in my case flat, stay away from the angles, it should work for you forever. Again, until you restore your phone or have to upgrade to iOS 7.04, which is the latest one, and recommended, by the way. It seems to have less Touch ID problems. So a lot of people have problems. They say or think that their hands or their fingerprints don't work if their hands are dry. Well, to disprove that, here's a plastic sandwich bag. And my thumb's inside the plastic sandwich bag. And we'll test Touch ID. By the way, you can put your finger on your phone and hit the sleep wake button, and it'll instantly read your print. Some people, myself included sometimes, especially if I've had a lot of coffee, if you hit the, and I'll try and duplicate that here. If you hit the button and move a little bit too much, it may not register the first time. Go away, Siri. So what you can do in that case, you can even leave your finger there, hit the sleep wake button, and it wakes instantly. So if you think that it doesn't work because you have dry hands, again, here's a sandwich bag. I'll put my finger over the sensor, hit the sleep wake button, and the phone wakes up. You're not going to get any drier than a plastic sandwich bag. Other people say the Touch ID doesn't work after they've washed their hands, or I've heard stories of people having to wait an hour after they've showered before Touch ID works for them. All right, well, I'm not going to go over to the sink and wash my hands, but you know, here's a bowl of water, and I'll get my thumb nice and wet. Dry it off. Still a little damp. Power the phone off. Bring it back on with Touch ID, it unlocks instantly. So having damp hands, not a problem. Having dry hands, not a problem. Properly registering your fingerprint initially, keeping your thumb nice and flat, and using the meaty portion of your thumb works 100% of the time. If you have any questions about this, you can, again, go out to the Apple user community. There's a discussion. There's one I've started, having problems with Touch ID failing. Read this for help. and it outlines all the steps that I've hopefully just conveyed to you here. Good luck. Bye.